Naked Carpenter has been jailed again after exposing himself just hours after being released. I mean, that guy's definitely going to get Carpenter's balls.
He gets out of jail. He's like, I haven't been naked in like days.
By the way, I get that there's nudists and like people who just love being naked, but if there was one activity where I would think you'd want maybe just a little bit of something covering you, it's carpentry.
That's one of them.
Like sharp power tools and shit.
They got a sliver.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're working with wood. Maybe have some pants on. Let's see here. A man branded the Naked Carpenter has been jailed after he was caught wearing see-through pants to a police station. Just hours.
He wore them to the police station.
Yeah, not just that. And that was just hours after he had been released. Robert Jenner from Maidstone is a proud...
I'm back and I got pants. How do you like it, motherfuckers?
is a proud naturist and has been in trouble with the law in the past for his insistence on going around in the buff. And the 49-year-old has now been convicted for breaching a criminal behavior order, which meant he had to wear at least 2 layers of clothes.
He's like, my underwear. They're also see-through.
Yeah, that'd be fun. To prevent him from exposing his genitalia.
There's a rule that says you have to wear 2 layers of clothes.
For him, yeah.
Like, sir.
It's like we call it the Robert Law. It was imposed back in 2019 at Canterbury Crown Court to try and curb Jenner's behavior. In order to get around it, though, Jenner arrived at Maidstone Police Station on the 12th of January wearing see-through pants and a mesh thong. Well, he did have 2 layers.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's like, he was in compliance.
With DC Melanie Bolt and PC Homam El Sinawi recalling that they saw everything as he arrived. Robert Jenner has been jailed for breaching a court order. During the trial, the court heard that the incident happened on the same day that he had been released from prison for a large number of offenses for exposure. Defending Jenner, barrister Neil Doherty said, quote, he still believes the top he had been wearing in the police station covered his genital area. At the trial, prosecutor William Snedden said, quote, he left prison, went to the police station to make inquiries about a mobile telephone, wearing clothes he hadn't been wearing when he had left prison. The former soldier claimed that it was a breach of his human rights to force him to wear clothes, and he admitted that he didn't wear underpants during his shifts as a delivery driver and actually had a hole cut in his crotch. The jury took just a few minutes to come to a decision, and Jenner was convicted of breaching his order and sentenced to 1 year in prison. It is the second time he has breached the order. Passing the ruling, Judge Charles McDonald, QC, said Jenner had showed a contempt for the court and the law. The 49-year-old claimed it was a breach of his human rights not to allow him to go out in the buff. In his most recent trial, Mr. Doherty said, quote, he is a naturist and often goes to naturist beaches in France, Marbella, and the Isle of Sheppey, including swimming. He doesn't regret anything, but he is thoroughly sick of prison. He also claimed that
Can't be too fucking sick of it.
he also claimed that his client's behavior had nothing to do with his sexual desires and was not sinister. Judge McDonald said the order had been the result of persistent criminal behavior. In court, Jenner was asked, quote, do you consider yourself to be a naturist? And he replied, yes, to me, naturism means being open. Because Jenner had been on remand since the incident, he is expected to be released immediately from custody. However, he will remain subject to the order. I mean, even if you love being naked, when the threat is to be imprisoned, aren't you going to be a little more careful, wouldn't you think?
I mean, he wins at the end. He can be naked in prison. What are they going to do about it?
Yeah. Depends on your inclinations whether it's a good thing.
He'll be very open. But the whole Naked Carpenter gimmick, that seems like a terrible decision.
Oh, that sounds horrible. But I can't help but just imagine we were all naked human beings to begin with, and now at some point we're at the point where we're like, this person's not wearing clothes, it's just so for most of our history we were like, why would we put on clothes? You know, that's just so
And
restrictive.
there's still cultures you're like, well, that's your culture. They can
Yeah.
be naked.
Yeah,
They can walk around with just like a hollowed out stick on their dick.
Yeah.
that's how they live.
Makes sense. to
that
me.
is true. Like, shame does creep in pretty fast in America.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I told you both this story. I think Ajay heard it, but I was in the car. I don't think I talked about this on the show, but it was me and Roman. And the two kids were in the back, and they're picking me up from work, and like we're going down the street, and there's this
Oh, yeah,
two
I did
homeless
hear you
people,
say
and
this.
there's this like old like crone, like just fucking buck ass naked. And I'm like, I tell the kids, I'm like, look over there, don't stop fucking looking over there. And then like one of them, you know, he's just like, okay, and the other one, like he looks back and he's looking. I'm like, fucking look that way.
Oh, he's a curious cat. That one.
I like he's defiant, but it cost him that day. Fucking dried up like titties just hanging all over the place.
Hard
Oh.
for life.
He's like, I'll look wherever you want me to, Dad.
Yeah, then we're driving. And he's like, why was she like that? And Mom's like, oh, you know, she has mental problems and drugs and whatever. And she's like, don't do drugs. And he's like, she was horrible. It's like, well, somebody just like, you know, took one of those like core memories and put it on the shelf. You know?
Well, she taught him a lesson.
That's why you always listen to your dad.
And that's when I knew I was gay as a goose.
Yeah, she could have scarred him for life.
I was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible. I've seen a couple naked people working that close to downtown, and it's like, you don't want to do it.
I gotta say, I've never just seen someone naked in public.
I'd say this is like my fourth time. Like I saw a woman running across the street in front of me one time. I've seen two old women, and I saw like one like big black dude from the backside.
What is how?
It's like, oh, I don't need this in my
The
life. Oh
only
yeah, I
reason-
walked around the corner to like an old dude taking a shit. I was like, Jesus.
We need more public restrooms, man, for the homeless and stuff. Like,
Well, it was really bad with COVID because like all the McDonald's and
Oh.
everybody just closed their doors, and suddenly there's like nowhere to shit anywhere.
right? Yeah.
You know, I will say, I don't want to see people like that woman naked, but just from a freedom standpoint, I think as long as it's not in a public like building where there's like a health risk, like people probably should be allowed to be naked.
I think we get used to it pretty fast.
I
but,
think so
like,
too.
I think so.
But nobody sexy would do it.
Yeah.
Nobody you want to see naked would do it.
Honestly, a person's not sexy after like 5 minutes of being naked. Like once you've seen them for a while, you're
Some
like,
people.
you just get you get used to it. You know?
Yeah, I don't want to get used to it.